Yes.
Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the Kim with the Gems channel with our esteemed guest. Man, if you are like us, we are still reeling from the whiplash of today's market, child. The one thing we talked about in the Maximize Assets Grow Abundance course, which Hakeem, listen, just did his thing in, was how we cannot be panicked, right? It's all about the preparation. Yes, there's tariffs talk. Yes, there's DEI talks. Yes, there's a whole lot of stuff that will make our heads spin. But guess what? Hakeem came to us from week one telling us to focus where the hockey puck is going, not
right.
where it is now, nor where it has been. That has nothing to do with us anymore. We're focused on where it is going. And so I am super, oh my gosh, the timing of Hakeem saying yes to grace us with his knowledge about these financial markets, our retirement accounts, our savings accounts, the stock market, the timing, it's all in divine order. I could not have predicted this stuff would be happening now. And the fact that Hakeem is as busy as this man is with everything going on is taking time to come and share his knowledge and expertise with us. And before we get into Hakeem sharing tonight, I do want to share from Hakeem. Hakeem does a web report on his social media channels, and I'm going to bring it up. Hopefully there's no hiccups with me trying to bring it up. But I am going to bring it up. I'm also going to share Hakeem's website. It'll be listed throughout the conversation tonight. So if you have any desire to work with him, you can contact him through that website. But today he did such a amazing breakdown of this market. And I'm sure he's going to talk about it tonight as well. But there was just a quick point that I wanted to start this conversation off with before we turn it over to Hakeem. And I see some of the Gym Nation in the house. I see some of the MAGA students in the house. Last night, I was at a wonderful event with I call it a bunch of beautiful Black women who are planning their exodus from the U.S. Many of them have said that they've seen Hakeem on our channel. I've gotten people saying that they're about to sign up with Hakeem. It was such a great night with Stephanie Perry, who is the head of the Exodus Summit, co-head of Exodus Summit. She was in town and we got together in Manhattan. It was great. So if you're in here from that, say hi. Let me know you're in the chat and even if you come later, put it in the comments below. Let me know that I met you there. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started with some of Hakeem's profound words from his web report. And he could tell you how you can follow him as well when we get into the conversation. Okay, so let me go ahead. If you have any problems hearing, please let me know. I'm just going to get into it now. Can you hear?
No.
Oh, no. Okay, there it is.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, hold on.
This is what we do. This is a profession. It's 365, 7 days a week, 24/7. It's what our firm is designed to do. It's what needs and won't have this type of flexibility that they've been having in controlling all three branches of government, as we see. And where some people are theorists, some people are academia, some people can only do well from a we do. This is a profession. It's 365, 7 days a week, 24/7. It's what our firm is designed to do. It's what I'm designed to do. And we're bringing Wall Street to Main Street. I have so many people privately in messaging. Even I see some polls making reference to, oh, wow, this is Trump helping. Oh, wow, he pump fake. Oh, wow, all the insiders are winning and the rich are becoming rich and the poor becoming poor. Please stop that. If anything, you got to stop it because your very own is coming to you live, repeatedly, sharing with you, deciphering all of this, indoor giving you access to the very same thing that the rich and the ultra rich have access to. I've made that crystal clear that our firm is given that kind of access. Many of our clients benefit from it, and I'm given actionable things to do. Knowledge for the sake of knowledge is not power. Knowledge applied is power, and you want knowledge where you can take and have benefit of. I'm given actionable knowledge. Let's get a rundown of markets so you can adjust and consider what to do. Yesterday specifically, I said evaluate your risk, adjust, look at your things you want to pick up, and within a couple of days, you better do it. I didn't know it would happen within 24 hours, which I also said no one knows. But when you have your Christmas list put together, you check it twice to see who's naughty or nice. And you're doing it ahead of time for those who celebrate Christmas. And you do it for other holidays, birthdays, and so forth. Most people spend more time preparing for traveling around the globe or anywhere they're traveling than they do when it pertains to their own dollars. And so, we can benefit from it. Wall Street to Main Street to everyone, at least if you're connected to me, you have zero excuses. And I keep saying, stay away from these DEI want to fight for crumbs and go back to the old way and fight that crumb battle. No, let's position to come through this thriving, come through it unscathed, and get on the other side thriving. We don't want to come through this limping.
Sorry about that. This let me go ahead. And I'm adding the wrong video. I kept seeing the New York sweatshirt, and I kept adding the wrong video. But I just wanted y'all to listen to that piece of the Webb report. Hakeem will share how you can follow his Webb report. But there were just so many things that he said. Number one, he is here for us. He is here for us. And Hakeem, are you okay? I just saw a text.
Oh yeah, I'm great.
Okay, perfect. He is here for us. He's going to talk the talk that they're talking to their friends or their clients. He is here for us because he's in those rooms and he knows what's going on. Also, listen, knowledge applied is power, right? Knowledge itself is not power. That's how come on this channel we talk about being about that action. Acciones, as I'm practicing my Spanish. I go back to Mexico in a few weeks. It's all about the action. So if you have the knowledge, but you are not applying it, it's just taking up space in your brain. It's worth nothing. And so he is here to work with us. He's tried to share information with us. It's up to us to receive it and act upon it. And once again, I thank him for doing us this service and sharing these gems with the Gem Nation. So before we get on to Hakeem, if you are in here now, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hakeem will be with us for the next couple of weeks for the month of April, which is Financial Literacy Month. You can then, work with him later on. But these next few weeks, he's giving out nuggets that he usually gets thousands upon thousands of dollars to give out. So, and he's offered some great access to him as well at a less than market value cost, much less than market value cost. So again, I thank him for being here, but I do want to say hi to everyone. My StreamYard. Hi to everyone, and then also invite you to become a part of the Gem Nation. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button, hit the like button for this video, because it really helps this get out to other people who are like-minded that want this type of information. It's not for vanity whatsoever. It's really telling Google, hey, I like this. Other people may like this too. So if you could go ahead and hit the like button. And if you want to get more in depth with what is really going on, get more insight from Hakeem, we are going to bring back the Maximize Assets, Grow Abundance cohort for spring. So that link is in the chat. You can go ahead and sign up. Only few spots remain. So go ahead and get access like you probably never had it before. So with that being said, I am going to turn it over to Hakeem. Hakeem he talked about not thinking about DEI. What is DEI? We're not thinking about DEI. It's about DFS. It's about doing for self when all this other chaos and confusion is trapping us. Listen, they are playing chess. We're playing jacks. We're not even playing checkers. We are playing jacks while they are out here playing chess. And Hakeem is here to break it all down for us. And as I turn it over to him, I'm just going to say hi to a couple people. Hey, Show About Nothing. Hey, Laura Baker. Hey, LJ. Hey, Moni. Good to see you. Hey, Our Choice Calling. And that's me, Kim with the gems. Hey, Christine, our moderator. She got her pen and her pad ready again. Hey, Shell, good to see you again. I just got off a call with Shell, who's part of our MAGA community. So is LJ, so is Christine, so is Laura. Hey, Cynthia. Cynthia is as well. Good to see my MAGA community. Oh, sorry about the volume. Hakeem's going to share. If you couldn't hear it, Hakeem will share how you can watch the whole video, which I encourage you to do. He's going to share how you can do that in a minute. Hey, Thomasina, nice to see you. Again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead. You don't want to miss when Hakeem comes back. And I think I got, hey, WM, you're not late, girl. You're always on time. Here, another our Maximize Assets, Grow Abundance members and Flawless community. And so is Casper. Oh, the MAGAs are in the house. Go ahead and put MAGA in the chat.
Nice.
Part of the MAGA family. I love to see it. Let me tell you, Hakeem brings them out, child.
Nice.
Bring them out. Hey, Siobhan, good to see you. Siobhan is one of our members on YouTube. If you want to become part of the Flawless Membership Gym Nation, we're having a bingo night tomorrow night at 8:30. Go ahead, hit that membership. Listen, you can win one gift card that will pay for 2 months of membership and maybe more. So go ahead and become a member on the channel and you'll get the link, the sign-in information there. Create a Flavor and Travel. Welcome back. Yes, MAGA community. That is Sonia. Sonia is in the building. I need the MAGA people to put MAGA in the chat, please, except WM, because I don't want her. WM knows why. I don't want her messing up her screen. So anyway, thank you, everyone. And so I am just going to turn it over to Hakeem so he can, drop these gems that we all need to hear in this time when the market is crashing, the tariffs are up, they're down, they're all around. And we are like, what do we do? And so Hakeem has a whole plan on how we do for self. So I'm going to turn it over to Hakeem. I'm not even going to be on the screen, y'all. Y'all don't care about me anyway tonight. So Hakeem, and please let them know how they can watch the rest of that video too.
Absolutely. It's on my Facebook page, which is my name, Hakeem J Webb Facebook. I'll try to put a link throughout the show or somehow in chat or something.
I'll link it. Don't worry. I'll link.
And if you go to our website, all my social media is on the website. The website is www.ncfainc.org. You'll be able to catch me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. And each one of those social medias, I treat them differently. On the LinkedIn, it's a high professional executive type of discussion going on there. Facebook, I go across the board, the whosoever's. I mean, if you out there hustling, you can learn something from Facebook. If you a corporate exec, you'll get it from that level too. So Facebook, I kind of just go across the board. Instagram and TikTok, my marketing people is trying to get me to do more there. Pray for me. We'll see about that in the days to come. The part of my voice, I literally been speaking in multiple time zones for the past 3 weeks. Did a lecture for Kim. If you're not part of Kim, Gym Nation, and other stuff, you're doing yourself a disservice. Thank you for having me again. It's the main reason why I'm here. I was fortunate enough to lecture within a 6-week program that she had for a group of investors. And I mean, these women are on point. They hungry. They pulled out the best of myself and several of the other lecturers. It was a beautiful time of learning with the intent to take action. That's the most beautiful thing. In your home, the lights, if you pay your bills, is on. But until you put a demand for the light by flipping a switch, nothing happens. So I'm one of those people that you want to put a demand on And when you put a demand on, then you get the most out of me. And they was just putting a demand. And so thank you for all them. And tonight we can go a couple places. I'm going to start off and build up because we got a couple weeks and we'll just see where we're going to go. So primarily I'm going to run down the market, what happened today. And then I'm going to share some things that you do in markets like we're seeing now. And then I'll tie into some doing for self nuggets, and I'll drop a couple nuggets there. And most, if not all, the things I'm doing or my firm is helping others to do in that way, or a combination of both. And I'll give disclosures accordingly to be compliance for that. And then there's the high level that I can speak on and have a presentation, which I'm sharing with several people in the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, including U.S. Virgin Islands, to position those leaders there, indoor businessmen and women, to be on the other side of this reindustrialization. And we're also talking to foreign country representatives and nations to say, guess what? The president has made it crystal clear. If you think he was BSing during the campaign, if you think he's jiving now, you hadn't heard. For those of us who lived up north, none of this is a surprise for us. If you lived in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, we've seen this Donald Trump show for many decades, and he's been talking about tariffs as such for close to 40 years. So I took him serious then. I take him serious now, and if people still aren't, they're gonna wake up and realize somewhere down the road, and then they'll be talking from a, remember we used to do that? Remember we had this? Remember how people used to do this? Remember how great we were? I had someone at the barbershop, man, I missed the 80s. Those was good time. We can get so much money, King, back then. You don't want to be in that remembrance, so to speak, because dreams turns to nightmares. Nightmares turns into a mausoleum. And you can have a vision that turns to a dream. That dream, if not implemented, you start having nightmares about it. And then if you still don't implement it, it turns into a mausoleum. That's a place where things die. And then you just start getting around people reminiscing about what they used to do in the good old times. And that's something for us as a community. We have a ton of knowledge of all of what our ancestors have done. Oh man, we built the pyramids. Well, amen for that. What are we building now? Like, what are we building now? Because the pyramids are great and people travel to the pyramids. That's a beautiful thing. The Egyptians don't even give us credit for that. They take credit. And so here we are amping up something that we don't even get credit for. Man, we invented math. Okay, what are we doing with that now? Oh my goodness, we've done this, we've done that. We help people, put people on the moon. You know, the movie that came out with the women helping to get them on the moon. Okay, what are we doing now? They're going to Mars. They're trying to go to Mars. And so I'm what are you doing now? And I'm also want to position us for where the puck is going, because it's nice to say we invented the traffic light and in the refrigerator. And what are we inventing now? That's where I'm at. What are we inventing now? Because we need to have this kind of mindset to move us forward. And we know we're gifted and talented. But we don't want to be in this reminiscent point. Oh, man, they need us to play basketball and football. Well, actually, they don't. And they're showing that now in the basketball. They've turned it pretty much to a European league. They're soft. And they're going to do the same thing in football in different ways. So, yes, we have all these achievements from days of old. But we have to be achieving now and going forward. And that's one of the major differences of myself than some of the influences that's popped up during COVID and on YouTube and all this stuff like that. I don't stay in that world. But let's run down the markets for today so you understand what happened. So the last 4 or 5 days of trading, markets has been just tanking. 1,000 points here, 2,000 plus points the other day. 13. It's just been tanking. Now, if you are a client of mine, or if you was in that 6-week training, or you've known me for decades, I'm 30 plus years in doing this. I was one of the first Black Americans to put an independent wealth management office on Wall Street. I did not only work on Wall Street, and I don't only work on Wall Street, I own on Wall Street. That's a big difference. I own on Wall Street. I owned an actual physical location on Wall Street, and I was one of the first Black Americans to put an independent wealth management office on Wall Street. Now I'm off Wall Street, but I'm a Wall Street and I still own. It's a big difference. And so, I was sharing with individuals throughout from the election, leading up to the election night, when markets blew out after they saw Donald Trump win. Bitcoin blew out to 101, give or take a few $1,000. And I was sharing what to do prior to, and had a plan for if Kamala win or if Trump wins. And then once it became known who won, we moved forward to implement that plan. And through the night, we saw markets take shape. Bitcoin went through the roof. I began to speak and talk, and really haven't stopped since then, present, sharing, great time to start shorting a bit, and so forth. And then here's how we want to reallocate the portfolios before the end of the year, because markets are always forward-looking. The reason they're forward-looking is because it bases off of earnings. Earnings are quarterly. Corporations begin to share their earnings quarterly. We're moving into earnings season now. And when you start to hear guidance from companies like Walmart suspended some of their guidance because they can't make out what's going to happen with these tariffs, so they suspended some stuff. Now you're going to fly blind. And here's where, if you're not a professional and do it yourself and you don't know how to get access to the investment people at Walmart and still get that information versus waiting for it to get reported, you're going to be flying really, really blind. So stay away from the do-it-yourself kind of stuff. Find a reputable person you can trust. And since they report quarterly earnings, you can look at the balance sheet, the income statement, the cash flow, all this kind of stuff, the little footnotes to disclose what they're doing and where they're going. And you can find out an enormous amount of information about any corporation that's publicly traded. And you can find out about their marketing. You can find out about their strategy. You can find out what products. You can find out a lot beyond the numbers. And then when you get to the numbers, numbers don't lie. Men lie, women lie. And when they came out with the tariffs on last week, April 2nd, I came out immediately and said, my goodness, men lie, women lie. These numbers are lying. These numbers, it's an element. If you're a high school econ person, you knew the numbers was wrong. You knew that they just came up with some crazy numbers. But most people, a couple of days later, they begin to speak about it, and presently they begin to speak about it. And they speak about it thinking that he's crazy or he don't know what he's doing. And I told people then and now, not so. He has some of the brightest architects around him that's been moving Wall Street for a long time. The Treasury Secretary literally is responsible for orchestrating for George Soros and Druckenmiller. They was partners. He was in the office in London. He put together the research and the information to put the bet on UK's currency, and he broke their bank. That's one of the reasons why they're not part of a reserve capital now, plus other political things that did wrong. But they broke the bank. This man is a Wall Street mega juggernaut. He also used to teach econ at Yale. And then Mr. Moran, he's a PhD from Harvard. So they're not dumb. They can do the math. They just rolled out the first step, which was chaos. Chaos was the first step. Tariff chaos. And they wanted to create a bunch of chaos. And it's really something that you want to pay attention to, because I coined another term, and I'm calling it the Mar-a-Lago Accord. If you know anything about history, in 1945, they put together the Bretton Woods Accord. That's what happened to make us the reserve capital of the world. And then Nixon got us off of the gold standard, and we began to structure things that we've been benefiting from, that led to the industrialization, that led to led up to Ronald Reagan, which ushered in the neoliberal system, if you will. And so you go from 45 to 85, and then you get the Paxos Accord. And then Trump first term, that's when he began to dismantle this globalization that we've been under for a while. And we're moving into, call it nationalism, whatever you want to call it. And they're trying to reindustrialize America and make it an industrial nation again, but not like it used to be. And so people spend a lot of time talking about that. Oh, this, that. How can you do that? It's going to cost too much. They're going to have no real jobs. It's going to be robots there. They're focusing on the wrong thing. That is true. All those things are true. But if you cannot produce ammunitions like we did in World War I, World War II, and all of your manufacturing is done by Japan and China and Vietnam, and if you have a tremendous problem military-wise, you can't retrofit it and start producing things for your military. You're going to rely on your enemy. And of course, if you're fighting them, they're not going to produce that for you. Right now, 90+% of every chip is made in another country, predominantly Taiwan or Korea or something like that. And if China decides to take over Taiwan, whether they're successful or not, are they going to start giving us chips that we need to operate in our lives day to day? We can't live without technology. So if you have to reindustrialize, it won't be like we know it in days of old, manufacturing in Pennsylvania and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be upscale, AI, robots, and humans playing a part in there. And then we can have greater control if something doesn't go the way we would like politically, militarily, etc. And so there's a component I'll speak on regarding that. So the market was up 2,962 points today on the Dow, closing at 46.08. S&P was up 474, closing at 54.56. NASDAQ was up 1,857, closing at 17,124. That was historical prints for all three in terms of a one-day gain. That's the most markets had produced on, especially the Dow and or the NASDAQ. And so that's historical. So if you pulled out of the market, telling yourself that I can't take it anymore, it's too much pain, get me out. I'll go to the side and wait till this passes by. Well, that's not going to work, and you're going to miss out on days like today, and then you're not going to know when to reinvest back in. And then when you finally get back in because the storm is calm and the waters are calm, and you say, "Oh, market's going back up." Now you're doing what most retail investors have a problem of doing. And most people say that's how the rich get richer and the poor stay poor, because they tend to wait for things to settle. They go back in when markets are going up. So they're buying high and hoping that it goes higher. You don't want to do that. You want to buy low. You don't got to catch the very bottom, but you want to buy low. And then it will go back up. And at that point in time, you're riding all the up or a good portion of the up. So you have to stay in if you have time. And then you have to be well diversified. I have a PowerPoint that I can share that speaks to this and give numbers. Do I have the ability to do that?
Yes. Do you see at the bottom where it says present? Okay.
Okay, let's see here. Some screens that share. Okay, don't show us again. Let me see. Oh yeah, right here. Perfect. We got this.
And then you have to add it to the.
Can you see that? Can everybody see it?
Yeah. Now the whole left side has your whole presentation. So I don't know if you want to expand. There you go. Perfect. Okay.
Perfect. So this particular PowerPoint, just a couple slides. It's normally a 2-sheeter when I'm sitting with clients. And many, if you knew me in high school, you saw me speak on this in high school. If you knew me in college, I was speaking on this in college. While we were partying a little bit or playing Monopoly, and had a little 40-ounce right there, drinking a little bit. Yeah, I drank a little 40. Only had one. I didn't do no drugs, but I had a little 40. Cedric can contest to that. I don't want to blow me up and say, Kim, you drank the 40. Yes, I had a 40. And right there, while we're talking playing Monopoly, I
just want to say my choice was a Cisco. Thank you very much.
No way. What? Wow. But any event, and while we're there playing Monopoly and having fun at college and just doing what college kids do, I'm pretty much sharing, how to make this practical. How to turn this practical. It looked like it brought a different slide. So I'll start sharing and share again. How to make it practical, how to turn what we were doing in college and make it practical. So I would share the Monopoly was really a real life story. And so we started to do things in the Petersburg area, indoor campus, to make it practical. I helped out with folks in Harlem. So at any point in time in my life, you saw me talk about these things from high school on. And so strategies for volatility, that's a lot of years. And we have the history from studying. We have the history of being a practitioner. And I have over 30 years of implementing this for myself and all for my clients and navigating through these types of rough terrain. And it's like anything else. If you got to go on a tour guide, you want someone to have experience. If you got to go through a jungle and there's a lot of deadly animals there, well, I want a tour guide that's gone through the jungle. That doesn't mean I don't get rid of the crazy animals trying to kill me and come at me, and the tiger and the lions and the bears. He just knows where the tigers, lions, and bears are, or she know, and we can navigate away from it. We get through a little bit like, but we get through thriving and we make it. But a novice, a do-it-yourselfer, a part-timer, he doesn't know where the snake is. He doesn't know where the bear is. He doesn't know where the cheater is. And so you following them during COVID, they're gone now. They got wiped out the last few weeks. They're gone. And so you have volatility. And so with volatility right here, let's go back to this slide. Can we get this? Okay, look at this slide right here. This slide puts in perspective with numbers why we don't try to time the market. I do a lot of work with a lot of institutional traders and investors that they move markets, whether you're at Goldman, JP Morgan, Interactive Brokers, you name it. These folks are moving markets, and some of the top traders and hedge fund guys, they don't try to time the market. The few that do, you have to be exceptionally great, and it's very, very hard to consistently win at that. So when you do, you get in and you get out, and it's very challenging. We all know it's time in the market versus timing the market. And this illustrates it. So this goes back 20 years of time. Everyone started for $100,000 and you put it into the S&P 500. And this person over here said, I'm going to let that 100 stay regardless of what's going on in the markets over the last 20 years. You know what's happened in the last 20 years. We had the COVID meltdown during COVID. We had the financial crises in the early 2006, 7, 8 that blew a lot of things out. That was global Armageddon for financial markets. The great president and Obama saved the globe financially, not just America. He saved the globe. It really was that bad. 30 plus million people lost their homes. They was out of work. It was bad. And so this is saying that money was still in the market during that time. And so from 100,000 to present, that grew over 20 years, $717,000. And someone said they're firing their advisor now because ain't no way in the way my account grew that much. I'm going to work with Hakeem now. Well, that's the very first great decision you made. Well, actually the second. The first was getting on this, and that would be the second. And then here's someone that said, you know what? These 5 days are brutal. I'm going to pull out the market. That count grew to 452. And another person said, mama lost money, grandma lost money. Old man John, he committed suicide, and I'm going to get the market the last 10 days. Their count grew to 336,000. Then, those Baptist deacons came around, and they started hooting, boy, you can't stay in that market. That market is not a good thing for you to be in. God don't want you in that market. You better sow your tithes and offerings, boy. And they ended up with 261,000. And then you got the missed crowd of 20 days. And that's the folks that got all that knowledge and they never apply it. And it can tell you everything about everything, and they end up with 209,000. You want to be over here, the 717. So it's not about timing the market, it's about time in the market. And so be mindful of that. So here we got another slide. Just further drilling down on why. This gets you a little more detail. And so fully invested, 717, missed 5 days, 452, missed 10, 336, missed 15, 261, missed 20, 209. For whatever reason, the pressure of markets will come on you. It's not easy when you see your account dropping. And most people have memory like elasticity. They only remember the high point of their market. And I've shared with a couple of people over the 30 years, if you gave someone 100,000 and they grew your account to 500,000, and then market starts to go down, and now that count is 450, this is what normally people say, man, I lost $50,000. No, you didn't lose $50,000. You're still up. You started for 100, it grew to 500, you gave back 50,000, you're still up, $350,000. And so but you got to think like that. But if you only remember the high point of your account and you're stuck on that, then fear grips you on the last 5 days like we've seen, and you're saying, oh, I remember my account was $500,000. And now, man, that thing is down to 489. You got some people that was posting and making questions. My account was 500, and they posted it's 490. You still good. You're good. You got a long way to go. I don't want to lose it all. And you try to persuade them to stay in. Now, our clients know this. So my voice is hoarse for not speaking, but my clients are normally calling me saying, we've been sitting in cash at 5 to 15% cash, Hakeem. At all times, I'm always running 5% cash. Sometimes I go up to 15 or 20% cash, and we've been building a cash position for clients. They're calling me saying, man, we want to buy more. We want to get us in now. And I said, hold on, we got a few more days because he didn't put the big tariffs on China yet. Let's wait till that happened. And that was signaled to happen yesterday at midnight. And then I came on and did the Webb report, shared what to do. We was making our list prior to. I told people in full disclosure, I was long markets. I told them full disclosure, I'm long gold. I put so much on gold, it was out of control. I was laying into gold 2.5 weeks ago and just doubling down, 20 times down, if you will, if that's such a thing. And so by the time gold blew out today, my twins was calling me and saying, oh my goodness, Pop, you did it again. And humbly, I said, God is good. I was able to get it right. Because you don't always get it right. The markets are humbling. In this particular case, I got it right. And then just say, oh, praise God. Alhamdulillah. You say praise God. And you just keep it going. But this is what happens repeatedly. If you're up north or any city you live in, when there was ghettos in our hood. And what happened with regentrification. And then you can sit back and say, man, if I bought that brownstone when Bill Clinton was talking about getting an office in Harlem, how much money I would have now. We've seen this multiple times now. So now we don't have to say what will happen, what if, what this. No, we know. We've seen this script. And so now we can take action. And one way you take tremendous action, knowingly or not knowingly, is especially if you're contributing through your employer plan, you are dollar cost averaging. That's the term. Every paycheck you're putting money in is called dollar cost averaging through systematic investing. And that's going to allow you to establish regular investment schedule, consistently amount, market fluctuations you would take advantage of instead of being subject to. And then you, as a long-term growth investor, it works for your behalf. And I want you to think about dollar cost averaging when you think about, let's say, the three major holidays that you may celebrate: Christmas, Labor Day, 4th of July. And all those three holidays, you are out there shopping for different things, whether it's for food or whether it's for clothing or whether it's gifts for your kids. And everybody knows you're going to buy those iPods from Apple. You're going to buy those red bottom shoes. You're going to buy some, Michael Kors, whatever you're buying, and you're paying full price. The very next day after Christmas, it drops off 50%, sometimes 75%. And then some people go out there and buy that next day and they store it up for next year or for some people's birthday and they play the win game. Well, when the markets drop off like yesterday, that's your red bottoms going on sale 50%. And so instead of getting one pair, and if you like most women I know, they're scooping up multiple pairs because it just went on sale. If you custom to paying $700, $1,000 for a pair of shoes or a bag, and now it's $500, well, you're going to pick up two bags, and now you're winning. You're winning. But sometimes when our money shows this and the accounts are going down, we get scared. No, you got to apply the same thing. If you live in Georgia, they have Publix. They have a buy one, get one free all the time, every week. Well, and then if you don't buy the second one, they give you a prorated price. Now, most people say Publix is too expensive to shop at because they don't understand that you can get a buy one, get one free. And then when you get that day, you go there and get busy and you buy a ton of stuff. So you can do the same thing in your investment accounts, and that's called dollar cost averaging, implementing a systematic investment approach, which I described and spoke about there. And lastly, you see, these are further benefits: reducing timing because you can't do it successfully. You get rid of the emotional piece. Money's losing. You see your account go down. You're irrational. You're emotional. You can't make any good decisions emotionally. So that helps discipline that. You have automatic bargain hunting, just like I gave the example of the red bottoms and shoes and so forth. And consistent participation. So you don't have to worry about another risk, which is called reinvestment risk. And that's even worse than market risk. You have inflation risk, you have taxation risk, you have reinvestment risk, and no one knows when to get back in. Go back to the housing crisis. When folks' homes was being lost, unfortunately, you knew the house when you bought it was 300. It got up to 600. And then the foreclosures came and it went down to 250, and nobody can get a house because there wasn't lending and a lot of folks was out of work. But now imagine if you had some extra cash and you knew the house right across the street was at 6. Well, 2 years later, till last week, real estate has blown out price-wise, so to speak. And so when it happens again, because real estate is going to go down again and it's starting to go down, you'll be in position to pick up those homes when they go down. Don't get afraid and say, no, that house is down. Real estate is down now. And geez, it's underwater over there. No, that's when you want to start picking them up when it goes down. You don't sit on the sideline and say, real estate is down. No, you get off the sideline and get in the game at that point in time. And then when real estate goes up crazily, like we've seen the last few years, then you move to the sideline. It's the reverse. We got to train ourselves in that regard. And here's just market volatility management. Stay invested, invest systematically, maintain perspective, diversify holdings. That's critical. This is how you take advantage of volatility and enormous volatility. You can never avoid rain. Don't listen to those Channel 5 martial art movies, 5 Fingers of Death, when they see a guy dipping and running and never get caught in rain. That's Hollywood. If it's raining outside and you outside, you're going to get wet, period. But you try to mitigate it. You have a raincoat on, you have galoshes on, you have rain boots on, you have an umbrella, and you mitigate it. But you're still going to get a little wet. So you have to have that knowledge to know, as an investor, a long-term investor, I cannot totally avoid it. We're all going to go through it, but I want to mitigate it, because if the markets go down 20 and you only go down 10, you won. Because the other person who went down 20, now he or she has to wait for the market to go up 20. And when it goes up 20, they're back to zero. You're at 10% gain. And if you gain 14 to 15%, you're going to double your money every 4 to 5 years. So that's how you put your investment strategy together. You don't have to chase all this crazy, wild stuff that has no value, like bit and all that kind of stuff. You just, you don't have to chase all that kind of nonsense. You know what your style is. Here's some disclosures. This information is something that our partners in BlackRock. BlackRock is a major institution that manages money. They're the largest asset manager in the world. And so, they provide some stuff where we can help our clients. And when you have the global leader in asset management, and you have access to the portfolio managers, you have access to the economists. They are around the globe. They manage the most assets in the world. We have quite a bit of money of our clients with them. And then you're doing the same with other institutions. This is how we get information around the globe. Then I synthesize it as an econ person and finance person myself. I'm also a certified treasury person. And there's very few of us in the globe that's actually certified as a certified treasury. And then that's how we begin to make some of our calls. But thank you to BlackRock for helping us with that. And we can open up some questions.
Listen, y'all, I'm sitting up here taking notes from the shopping in Publix, from the making sure, oh my gosh, I have so many notes. I don't want to, I do have a question for you though, because I know you're getting a lot of calls, and I mean, your more sophisticated clients, maybe not, but for maybe some newer clients, you're getting a lot of panic. And so one of the ways that I wanted to title, or you'll see in the thumbnail, it's like, be prepared. Preparedness will always trump panic. Can you just give a quick tip? And then we have a couple of questions. You gave some, like, okay, if you saw, the after Christmas sales or the after holiday sales, those are good solutions. But practically, like, some people say, don't watch your portfolio, right? Because it's like watching grass grow. Other people say you should watch it yearly. Some people say you should watch it quarterly. Can you just give like a general tip? It doesn't have to be a, Bible, but a general tip on how someone who is nervous with all of this chaotic news coming out, how can they quell that nervousness and not panic and not be so fearful?
That's an excellent question. And so, I, as an advisor, I manage expectations out the gate. And whether it's my seasoned clientele or a newbie clientele or $25 or 25 million or institution, I try to manage expectation. Sometimes this works. And fortunately for me, it has worked more often than not. And occasionally I have to reinforce it with clients. And I'm more of a behavior coach. I'm more coaching and reinforcing even the real astute clients. I'll move in. I tell folks I should not have majored in econ and finance. I should have majored in psychology, because you got to understand people's psychology. And when you understand, that's why we use something called behavioral finance. And you need to personalize your accounts and understand what your personal risk is. So that's my advice. Know what your personal risk is. And when you think about risk, there's two ways to think about it. Think about pain. How much pain can you take when you're seeing that thing go down? So get an image of that. That's pain. And another way to think about risk is, let's say you at home and it's cold, and the temperature outside and the weather man is constantly talking about how cold it is going to be. And if you're the kind of person that got to hear the news person, the meteorologist constantly saying, man, we're going to be a freezing. You got to keep hearing that. Well, 9 times out of 10, you're doing that in your statement. You'll keep looking at your statement 9 times out of 10. And so if you're like me, you're going to set your thermostat to whatever temperature you want it to be. And you don't care how cold it get outside because you know your boiler is set for 73. And the boiler is going to go up and down, off and on. And I don't care if I don't even turn the news on. I don't care how cold it is. My house stays at 73. Okay. And so that's what your risk score would do for you. When you know your risk score, that professional is going to manage your portfolio and keep it within a standard deviation. That's the up and down high term. And that's a statistical term for those who remember stats. It just moves plus or 5 points, plus or negative in a certain way, whatever the standard deviation is going to be. And now you still look at your statement. I advise that, but you're looking at it with understanding. And now you don't hide and duck it. Same thing if you're in debt, don't duck the debtor, don't duck the call, take the call. Take the call and work out an agreement with the debtors, if you will. And so, ducking and sticking your head in the sand, although ostriches don't actually stick their head in the sand, but most people say they stick your head in the sand like an ostrich. No. Open that thing up, look at it, get understanding. And then with understanding, he or she said this was going to happen. Wow. Okay. I'm okay with it. I see how much it's gone down. I can stomach it. Then you put your shopping list together and you're looking for buys.
Listen, I loved how you explained it using the boiler analogy. And it is so true. Like, what difference does it make what the weatherman is saying the temperature is outside, as long as you have your thermostat set to the temperature that is comfortable for you and your thermostat is working, right?
That's
Similarly,
right.
Your financial advisor, as long as you have someone who you can entrust and that doesn't change, then you should have a level of ease. And that's why Hakeem was talking about, even though, the theme of this program is DFS, do it for self. It's not you picking the stock for yourself. It's you taking control by making sure that you hire someone or who you are with a company that can help you stay within that standard deviation that you were talking about. And so I'm going to get to Ms. P's question now, but after Ms. P's question, can you just go more into the do it for self platform that you kind of started talking
Absolutely.
about?
So to do it for self,
let me ask Ms. P because she asked this, so I want to make sure she's still here.
Oh, this question. Okay.
And I think Ms. P.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, okay.
Absolutely. Is investing in indexes safer and more profitable overall than individual stock market? Also mentioned recently before, what do you think of funds like Fundrise? Okay, excellent questions. So indexes allow you to diversify yourself with little money. So indices make up. So let's take the S&P 500. That's 500 companies within the U.S. and a diversified group of companies. Home Depot, Intel in days of old, Coca-Cola, IBM, Meta, Apple. So an index gives you a basket, if you will, of 500 in this case of corporations. And so you can put $100 and get well diversified, and that's giving you 500 different corporations. So that is enormous diversity for little dollars. In stocks, if in days of old, if you only had $50, you couldn't build a diversified portfolio. You barely could buy one stock. And so they came out with mutual funds that help people to do that. Then they moved to ETFs, and they have a whole bunch of different type of baskets of portfolios. So the risk is still going to be there, but you're diversifying yourself. It's no saying my mother used to say, a rat with one hole is a poor dead rat. But a rat that has multiple holes, well, he's going to live a little longer. And so diversity, if you're buying one stock, you got to be right. I mean, that's enormous. You have to be right all the time. If you have 5 stocks in a basket, or if you have an industry that has 50, or NASDAQ that has 100, or Dow that has 30, Well, geez, you don't have to be right all the time. You got 30 other, 29 other. If you got Dow 30, you got 30 in it that can be right, and they're balanced off. You got 100 in the NASDAQ. You got 500 in the S&P. So those, the odds of all 500 or 30, even in the last few days, all of them weren't down at all times. But ultimately they did, and then they moved differently. As far as Fundrise, I don't do a lot of work with it, but I do understand that it is an investment platform. It allows you to get into real estate, such as the REITs. It allows you to get into venture capital and private credit. That's another platform that is available to try to give people access to that. We give people access to that as well through our firm. So if you're interested in REITs, if you're interested to sidecar it in private equity, if you're interested in credit markets, we give our clients access to that, and we do it at the institutional level. Whether it's BlackRock, whether it's Goldman, JP Morgan, Blackstone, we bring all of that to our clients as well.
So I have a quick question. I'm gonna be a little selfish because I haven't asked the question yet.
Go for it.
And it kind of goes in with what Ms. P was saying. So for those of us who were so ride DIE for Apple stock, right? Yep. And understanding their production challenges with what's going on with China, like 80% of their production happens in China or something like that. And this is, for your recommendation, not saying you're telling me what to do. So I just want to, but what do you think of Apple stock for now, or actually where it's going, like where the puck is going?
Absolutely. Excellent question. This is one, I literally, during Co-op City days in 181, that's when I started my research on Apple. Because you may remember where others probably was misfortunate, we were programming in 181 back then, and we used an Apple computer, and we was doing basic programming then. And several teachers, Mr. Cassidy and others, was trying to help me to become a better student. And so they would use sports and business to make connections to things for me. And that helped me. And as we were programming, just basic stuff, putting programs in to say hello, good morning in that class, that was an Apple computer. And so when Apple finally began to do a lot of work in the education world, that clicked for me. And then when it came public, from $8 all the way throughout, I still do a ton of research on them and in and out of that stock consistently. But specific to your question, which is a great question, yes, they have a tremendous challenge. That's why you saw them down during the last few days, because of their manufacturing with Foxconn and others in China. And then when people hear tariffs, they're just thinking a percentage, but you got to think beyond percentage. You got to think treasuries, what's going to happen to treasuries, what's going to happen to currencies, what's going to happen to patents, what's going to happen to access to markets. Governments can say, we don't want you selling these things. So Apple is impact across the board on all that. And so they started to move some things to Vietnam, but the president made sure he closed that gap because he learned from his last time that he didn't, and they backtracked and came through Vietnam and was able to bring stuff through. But pieces we're going to get on tonight, next week, we want to use the Virgin Islands to take advantage of this. If companies put their manufacturing in the Virgin Islands, you have the same portals of ports to get to all of the places they're going now. The Jones Act is not going to be a negative impact on them. At the highest, your tax rate will be 4% because they're reducing all taxation there. They have an intellectual bunch of employees there. You have a lot of pharmaceuticals being built out there. So you have the marketplace, you have the climate, you have the access. It's U.S. And so one of my advisors was just there in St. Thomas, and God willing, I can get there in the next couple of weeks myself. Hopefully St. Croix, and get on the ground and look at it. So Apple, I would put a pause on is my final thought. I would put a pause. I would know where the lows are on support. And just like the shoes, if I know that shoe is normally worth $500 and now it's now $50, guess what? I'm buying it. I'm just buying it, and I'm holding on to it with a long-term thought in mind.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that, because I am deep into the Apple game.
So every time that thing drops, if you have a long term, and if you work with us, we do the work on it. We can share with you where those support levels are, where the lows are, where the previous 50 to 20, 20 to 50 to 100. And then those will be good entry points to look into. And then you just acquire it and move forward. You wait.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so Christine wants to know if you think Ron DeSantis will be able to get rid of property taxes, or is this a pipe dream?
It's very likely. Florida have enough voters that don't like property taxes, and they understand the benefits of getting rid of property tax. So I don't know if it's a pipe dream. Donald Trump is speaking about getting rid of taxes in general,
right?
And that's not a pipe dream either. So we didn't always have taxation in this country.
And I think Florida's what you call it, a petri dish, like it's a test pilot for a lot of these bigger.
Florida and Texas always. Exactly. Georgia sometimes too, but definitely Florida and Texas.
So pay attention to what starts in those states to see maybe where the hockey puck is going. As Hakeem,
I think the red days are over. Meaning, I don't, but one of the that the market's going down. I don't. One day doesn't make a trend. So I don't think if you're meaning red, meaning down, I don't think the down days are over. And one thing about institutional investors, they hate losing money. And they lost a lot of money today. They gave back a lot of they gave back just about all their profits. So here's another thing. Most people listen to media and say it tanked, it crashed. People lost money. Well, no. For every up long buyer, you need someone to sell that to you. So that person's a seller. And if you go in long, they want to go short. And if you go long and make money, well, the short lost money. And then the reverse happens. You don't always make money going up. I was short in the market going into tariffs, and fortunately, we made money. And so you can make money when markets go down, and that's what we call shorting or putting a put if you're buying options. And so when the longs make money, the shorts lose money. When the shorts make money, the longs are losing money. So it's not like the money just gets shot up to heaven somewhere and it vanishes. It's going from one hand to the next hand.
Right. Exactly. And Ms. P, I just wanted to say, she said, thank you so much. Great. I just saw excellent explanation. Thank you when you answered her question about indices and the REITs and all of that. Okay, so Christine also wants to know, is it better to invest in natural resources instead of businesses right now?
So excellent question, but I want to reshape the thoughts. If you're looking to benefit now because of what's happening now, it will never work that way. You have to be looking to, here again, where the puck is going. So you can't really do anything now to do something to your portfolio in the moment because it's too late. You have to do something with a 3 to 6 month time horizon on what to do. So if you're in a diversified portfolio, your portfolio should have had some natural resources in it anyway. And so that portion of the portfolio possibly would have done well, but not in the last 4 or 5 days. Oil, we saw a print on oil almost at its lows back to COVID days. So oil had got smashed. A lot of natural resources got smashed because whether it's lumber from Canada, whether it's oil from Canada, whether it's the president putting pressure on oil, the dollar going losing value, the tariffs here, oil and natural resources was getting smashed during this time. So that would be a good time to be accumulating your shares in that space and then waiting for it to go back up 3-6 months down the road. Because if you're going to have a renaissance of manufacturing, you need oil to be able to make those manufacturing plants work, including coal.
And Christine, I'm gonna need you to go ahead and schedule that appointment with Hakeem so he can answer all these questions for you live and in person, you know? Okay. And so again, you want to, and I keep saying it because Hakeem, he said it in my brain, pay attention to where the hockey puck is going. Like, we're not concerned about what's happening. I'm not saying we're not concerned overall, but from a long-term investing standpoint, and I mean 5 years plus, we're not concerned about what happened yesterday or what's happening at, what time is it? 9:43, and we're gonna let Hakeem go in a little bit. Just a couple more questions. But yeah, make sure you get you someone who can help you through this process, because part of what they understand and part of what they are good at, and I mean specifically Hakeem, is trying, to decipher where the hockey puck is going. And you don't have to do that. You tell them your strategies, what your goals are, and let the magic happen, as they say.
Here's another way to make it even plain for us, because I'm sure most of us know this. Remember back in the day, they used to do numbers, the illegal numbers back in the day. Okay. And we allowed them to bamboozle us. Come on, somebody. We allowed them to bamboozle us from numbers and come up with the lotto. But a lot of people ate because they played numbers. And Bumpy Johnson and the boys fed a lot of people. Okay. And so in numbers, you had the first number that came out, the second number that came out, the third number that came out. Right. And you can make it straight or you can combo it. So some people want to see what that lead number coming out. And they were so good at it. When they saw the lead, okay, they would call their bookie and say, okay, if they saw a 1, they will say, get me a 3 and a 2, get me 212, get me this, that, and the other. And they will put it down there. And if they saw the middle number, they really loaded up on that thing and they kept playing it for 7 days or so forth like that. And then they finally hit. Well, they was dollar cost averaging because they kept playing it. Yeah. They systematically invested and they saw a trend. They saw a trend and they will put more and more dollars on it as well. And that's how you can think about the markets.
Yeah. One of my favorite quotes, we're going to get into Jackie's journey too, is from the master Warren Buffett. Like, I remember him doing an interview, and I can't remember her name. She does the morning show on CNBC with
Becky Quick.
Yes, there you go. And she, she interviewed him and his partner Charlie Munger for years. But she had an interview with Warren Buffett, and he gave the analogy. He says, listen, if I buy a house after doing my research, and I know the valuation of this house is, let's just say $125,000, and I get the house for $100,000, I know I have $25,000 worth of equity.
That's correct.
So somebody comes to me a month from now and is like, I think your house is worth $60,000, so I'm going to give you $60,000 for your house. He's like, I'm not going to sell my house for $60,000 because basically what he was saying is he's done the research, the due diligence to understand the value. So it doesn't matter what happens. The market can change for a day. He knows the value of his house and it will go back. So that's
an excellent and
you can't
mentor. And the truth of the matter is, no one goes and get a home appraisal every month to find out the value of their house. Exactly. Kind of back to what you're saying, don't look at your statement that way because that's basically paying for an appraisal every month.
Exactly. So Jackie has a question. She's 90% invested in ETFs, but she does have a large amount of shares in NVIDIA. Child, I saw what that Mr. Jung did. He went to Mar-a-Lago for that $1 million dinner. And then some things happened. But anyway, her question is there another Mag 7 that should be? So, okay, he doesn't know your goals. So that's why I always like to say that without him knowing what your strategies are, he can't really say what should be in your portfolio, how much time you have, all of the things, what's your expected rate of return, all of those things matter before a financial advisor or wealth manager gives you tips. Now, if you want to talk about NVIDIA specifically, that's up to you.
I can speak to that for sure. There's two things I would just mention to you, Jacqueline. You mentioned you have 90% invested in ETFs. You have a comma there, so that lets me know to pause. Then you put but. So this is really what I want to focus on, the but. The but makes me think wipe out everything beforehand, because you said you have everything a lot in NVIDIA. ETFs, when you look at the top 10 holdings, because of ETFs is giving you diversity, you shouldn't have a massive amount in that NVIDIA. So my first homework would be go back to that ETF and make sure that it is an ETF, and then make sure what kind of ETF it is and why there's such a large portion in NVIDIA. That shouldn't be the case for an ETF, especially when talking about the Mag 7. That ETF should give you all of the Mag 7 and good prorated percentages, probably heavy weighted to Apple, because Apple's weight in indexes is probably the most. But you shouldn't have it. It shouldn't be 90 in NVIDIA. Now to the specific part of NVIDIA. NVIDIA, people have been dumping NVIDIA prior to the market sell-off because of DeepSeek AI and what it has to offer at a lower price. Similar, like you said about your house. Corporations was buying NVIDIA and paying 80 plus million and billion to pour into their new AI initiatives. Microsoft poured tonnage. And so if someone says you got to give me, 80 billion for my chips, and you just had all these corporate boys putting out this money, and then someone comes in and say, man, I get you the same performance, the same this, the same that, and you only got to pay 20 billion. Whew, that's a problem. And so that's why NVIDIA has been selling off. And then most people start floating a lot of theories. Well, DeepSeek is not as good as NVIDIA. They start doing the political, corporate sabotaging, if you will. So I'm still big on NVIDIA. I think NVIDIA is where you want to be from an industrial AI play, not from the chat GBT, go on there, Copilot, but from an industrial play. Absolutely. When it drops, look to get more.
Listen, NVIDIA is still best in class. And that's
Absolutely.
what I always, when it comes to picking your financier person, your financial advisor, when it comes to picking your brokerage, look for best in class. And
absolutely.
And look at their balance sheets too. If you can, or talk to your financial advisor about their balance sheets. And then,
it just was overpriced. They was paying $600,000 for a house that was worth $250,000.
Got it. Please go ahead. Christine has said, go ahead to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you. There's one more question I think I saw, and let me just find it. Oh, I'm looking at the old one. Sorry. Is NVIDIA somebody? It's pretty much the same question, and then Jackie's Journey has a follow-up. Is NVIDIA a good long hold right now? It's been going up and down. So
is NVIDIA long hold right now? NVIDIA is striving to find its, so you made reference to Warren Buffett. The terminology of what Warren Buffett was speaking to in that statement and analogy is something called what we call intrinsic value. So with intrinsic value, if you look at your home and you get an appraisal, they're looking at comps within a certain radius, about 4 or 5 homes, and you come up with a value. And so let's say NVIDIA value is it should be, let's say instead of 114, NVIDIA should be 94. And this is where the balance sheet and income statement really, really kicks in the cash flow, because then you can do the economics and the amount of money is earned, amount of revenues coming in, how many shares is outstanding, and it becomes a mathematical equation. You divide it, and it will say the value is, let's just say 94. When you've done the math and you come up with that value, 94. When it trades above that value, it's trading above that value because of perceived potential gains in earnings. And so now that is coming in. And so if you did the work and we did the work, we know what the value is. And so the closer it's going down the down market, when it gets close to that value, we're buying it. And if it goes lower, so if you have 100,000, I'm going to probably buy it in 3 different stages, if you will. And so I can get an average price. And if it goes even worse underneath the value, then I'm going to buy a large chunk.
Wonderful. And then, I'm only going to share this is because Christine is my moderator, but you're not getting me in trouble, girl. Hakeem, I think you should take me to St. Thomas with you, for research purposes. That didn't sound like a question to me. Christine, I'll tell you, you are a mess, child. And then Jackie's Journey last statement says, no, I meant to say I have a large amount of shares in NVIDIA separate from ETF.
That's what I thought. And I was hoping you mean that, but I wanted to be clear. If you have a large amount of shares in NVIDIA, go back to your cost basis of what you paid for it. And no one wants to, you pay 94 and it's up and it's been coming down. You want to try to protect some of your profits if you can. If you haven't been able to do that already, don't panic. Do the reverse. When it drops beneath that value, and if you call me or reach me, I can tell you what the real value is. When it drops beneath there, then you do the reverse. You pick up more shares when it goes down beneath, and you've averaged down. And then when it goes back up, that'll work to your advantage.
And I'm just going to share just one photo because, listen, if y'all don't get in contact with Hakeem, and he's going to share what, he could provide. When this man says he's been busy, this is a picture of him from the elections on CNN talking about everything he said he talked about, from if Kamala won, if Trump won. So when people are looking for experts, I just want you to get a closer look right there. So you see that we are not playing no games when it comes to bringing the best of the best to our communities and people that stand for our community. So Black men react to historic Harris speech policy concerns. CNN is not just pulling anybody to come on their platform to talk about what is going on. And so Hakeem has multiple touch points, ways that you could get in contact with him. I'm going to start. We have one more cohort of the Maximize Assets, Grow Abundance. It's 4 weeks. Hakeem will teach one of those weeks. And you saw some of the content, everything from emerging technologies to what the oligarchs and what these robber barons are doing, and how we can, heed some of their warnings, right? And then he also has his website. So Hakeem, can you share with the audience how they can, once again, get in touch with you and work with you?
Absolutely. If you go to the website, it's www.ncfainc.org. And we recently revamped it and relaunched it ahead of these types of things so that we can assist in 4 major areas. So one of our core business models is helping people with their retirement plan at work. We call that pre-retirement advice, because most people have 2 major assets: their retirement plan at work, be it a 401k, 403b, 457 plan, thrift saving plan if you become employees who's underneath tremendous pressure, and have to make decisions on buyouts and stuff. That's where we're doing a lot of work now in the DC area, DMV area. And then we assist and help you with that asset. Then you have pure wealth management. That will be your outside investments outside of your employer. And we assist with that, and it goes hand in hand. And if you have a retirement plan at work and you're not getting advice across the board, you're really doing yourself a disservice, because if we don't know your whole picture, and the do-it-yourself target date funds with one size fit all that most employers are putting you in, or the 800 number where they know nothing about you and they can't give you specific advice because it's against the law to, unless you pay up for it and get an advisor like myself. And so we provide that service for those employees, and it costs them nothing up front or out of pocket because it's a part of their benefits package and services, and they just got to choose the independent advisors to work with. So that's a major piece, and you'll see on the website. The wealth management is also a piece to assist you with outside work on those accounts that you have. And then we have moved in a big way into investment banking so that we can bring access to capital to minority and disenfranchised people. And we're doing that like never before. We're getting people access to capital to start business, to grow business, to scale businesses. We got a couple of people in the logistic business we're looking to help. I just became an investor and or partner, and we're disrupting real estate. So I just became a partner in a tokenization of real estate, first ever in the U.S., where we're going to be given fractional shares similar to a REIT, but in a tokenization of that real estate, and being able to buy real estate, sell real estate, and all the above using digital tokenization. So that's huge. And then we're doing a lot of treasury work for those institutions that cannot have accounts at Goldman, JP Morgan, Bank of America, Morgan Stanley. We're delivering treasury work to the not-for-profits and the small and the colleges and universities. So you go to the website and you can go to, say you want to get a financial plan. We offer this to your people before. Ms. P is taking advantage of it. Others are taking advantage of it. We made our pre-retirement financial planning, which we give away as an added value to those employees. We got the regulators to allow us to offer for $100 for outside employees. And then I extended that to all of the people that's part of Kim Gems. So if you're part of Kim Gems, and if you're part of this,
Kim with the gems. Kim with the gems.
Kim with the gems. Kim with the gems. If you're part of Kim with the gems, and you was part of other training courses, I make that available, and that's online now. So you can go online and you can get a full financial plan, which will stress test your portfolios. It will put together the 5 disciplines of financial planning. That's going to be tax strategies, risk management strategies, investment, you name it, cash management, retirement, and so forth. It will cover all those areas, and you're going to get it for $100. It's normally $1,350. We're making it available for $100 for you. So that's available to you.
And I just want to put the disclaimer out there that while this offer stands now, there is no guarantee as to when it may come to an end.
That's correct.
This is a very up and down time that we're in. Hakeem is traveling. Hakeem is getting clients calling him left and right. And so I appreciate you making the offer, but please do not contact Hakeem in November talking about you saw a video in April. You want to take advantage of this, and it's not to pressure anyone. You could work with Hakeem anytime, but if you want to take advantage, because this offer was also made to the students in Maximize Assets Grow Abundance, and I know some of them have already taken advantage.
That's correct.
If you want to be able to take advantage of this $100 offer with this brilliant mind, please do it now, because if May comes and Hakeem's like, Kim, I need to shut it down, he's going to have to shut it down. He's a businessman. So I just wanted to put that disclaimer. Please do not contact him in February of next year talking about, I saw your video and I got $100 now.
Okay.
The one thing I know for sure, there's going to be more ebbs and flows to this market.
That's correct.
All you got to do is read Project 2025, y'all. Brilliant. All you got to do. So
here's another thing, Kim, that we've been getting. People want to get out of their current situations, whether it's Robinhood, whether it's Fidelity, whether it's Empower. And our website will allow you to open up your account, start that process. We're monitoring it along the piece. We get involved once you go through the process, and you can literally open up your account. It's less time it takes for you to drink a cup of coffee. You can open it up, and then you can start to transfer, and then you'll gain access to professional advice. You gain access to all of our advisory team, and then you'll get institutional management, especially at your employer plan.
So listen, I'm just saying, take advantage of it now. Look, I'm taking advantage of it now, right? So, and not only that, I just know Hakeem's commitment to us, and our missions and goals align so perfectly. And I know one thing, if I would have put like Kenya Moore or Cam Newton or Club Shay image on my thumbnail, there'll be 1,000 people that would have came in here right now.
We'll be trending.
We'll be trending. But listen, y'all, pass this information on. Even if you can't use it, share it with somebody you think can. Or even if you can use it, still share it with someone that you think can, because things are going to change, y'all.
Big time.
And you need somebody who's been up and down through the changes for the past 30 years. And so again, I just want to once again thank you, Hakeem. His information is www.ncfainc.org. He will be back with us 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next week, Wednesday. We pray that your vocals get better. I know you've been
so much.
talking, and I thank you again for tonight. And as we let you go, I have a couple announcements for the people that are still here, but it's already been 1 hour, 25 minutes. So I do want to respect your time. Thank you once again. And we'll see you.
For now. Appreciate you. And I'll see you next week. God willing. Bye for now.
Okay. Bye-bye. Thank you. So everyone who's in here, who is part of the Flawless community, the game night is tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will see you there. If you're part of the YouTube membership, if you signed up there, you still have time. You have until 8:30 p.m. because the link is already up there. The Zoom information is already up there for you to join. I put the link in the chat. Feel free to use it, or you can join the actual, oh no, did I put it in? That's the link for the membership on YouTube. You get invited to our game night monthly, and then you'll get other videos and stuff online. Our Flawless community is for anyone. We meet up once a week. We talk about the current events. We, each one teach one type of conversation. You can still join that. The link is in the description. Look for join the Flawless Gym Nation. And that's a 2 to 3 month membership, I think, depending on which one you choose. So other than that, I thank you all for joining tonight. Let me tell y'all, Hakeem is real deal Holyfield. That's all I got to say about him, and the fact that we have someone of his caliber who is gifting this community, because he knows what's coming to y'all. He knows. And so he's trying to bring it, like he's, the Nat Turner. And he's partnering with me, the Harriet Tubman. Y'all saw me with my Harriet Tubman hairdo the other night, right? To make sure as many of us get to the next level, y'all. So thank you for joining tonight. I'm not sure when I'll be back live because we're in the midst of our 28-day accountability challenge. We had a meeting earlier today, y'all. We are doing things because we know just like they got plans for the first 180 days, we got plans for the first 180 days. And so with all that being said, thank you for joining. Hit that like button, y'all. Hit the like button. Even after this video goes off, put in the comment section what it renders, how amazing Hakeem was. That will get other people to watch too. So all of these things, literally, we're trying to bring our people with us. Not everybody's going to come. I know it, but we're going to keep trying and bring as many of us with us as we can. So I thank each and every one of you. Hit that like button. Oh, you're welcome, Coco Williams. I did see one of the homegirls from last night from the Exodus Summit. C. Graham I see she's here. Hey, Casper, cousin Casper. I don't know which link this is that Christine put, but go ahead and click it and see what it is. Yes, Sonia, he's on fire. He's amazing. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, C. Graham. C. Graham, I met last night at the Exodus Summit meetup. The sisters there were just amazing, so inspirational, keeps me motivated to keep going. Like Christine said, be about that action, y'all, because what did he say? And I took notes. Knowledge applied is power. Knowledge applied is power. Go ahead to his Facebook community. He does market updates every so often, multiple times a week. And he drops a lot of gems there too. You're so welcome, Siobhan. And I will see you tomorrow at game night. We start at 8:31 with our first bingo game. Don't come late asking for a card or to repeat no numbers. Nope. Be there at 8:30. We have at least 3 bingo games, so we gotta get through them. Yeah, so thank you all. I think I caught everyone. If I didn't, oh, Zawadi, I met last night as well too. Hey, Vanessa Zawadi, you already out of here, but I just wanted to acknowledge you. I see you said good night. Jackie says thank you. Oh shoot. Jackie, go ahead and contact Hakeem. Take advantage of that $100 situation, because he could get you right personally based on whatever your personal goals are. I never want he wouldn't answer it without knowing your specific goals. No financial advisor should answer you. And if they do, you should be leery. You should go running from that person, because they're just doing it trying to get your money to make a commission. So yeah. Oh, yes. Okay. Cynthia says, thank you. Valuable tips and suggestions. And I think I got everybody else. If I missed you, blame it to my head, not to my heart. To Gym Nation, thank you for being so supportive. Thank you for coming every week. Thank you for being part of multiple programs that I have. And we'll talk more about those on another live, because I got a lot going on. Some of y'all may be confused, like, but definitely, if you have any questions, put them in the comments and I'll definitely get to you. All right, everyone, have a good night. And I will see Flawless Community tomorrow night. Take care. Bye.